Hi guys, today's update is because today is my 25th birthday. It's the 17th of June 2014, and that means I've been out as male for 1 full year now. I'm about 8 months on testosterone. I've got my next jab coming up next week. There's not a hell of a lot to report actually since my last video, which is why I haven't made another one since then, but I just thought I would make this one since it's a bit of a milestone for me. The main change that I've been watching so far is my facial hair and body hair changing, which it's happening very gradually, but I am starting to get darker hairs along my top lip and down both sides of my jaw here and a little bit under my chin. I can feel slightly rougher hairs here, so I keep on touching my chin just so I can keep feeling them. If I shave, it all comes back through within about 5 days. It's about maybe 3-4 millimeters long. It's not visible yet, but I shone a torchlight just so I could see the contrast, and it's completely different. I can really tell the difference between the hairs around here and around here versus the hairs on the rest of my face, so it's definitely something's happening. It's not happening kind of unevenly or patchy or anything. It's quite consistent all along here, so I'm really quite keen, hoping that when my beard actually comes through, it'll be even and it won't look really patchy and rough or anything. So that seems like possibly a good sign. I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on it and see. My body hair is still changing gradually. If I can show you a picture of my legs, I'm not really sure how I'd do that. My calf hair is fucking ridiculous. It's like a forest. Like, the hair is literally about that long if I stretch it out, and it's dark and curly and strokeable. You could braid it into cornrows. I can feel the wind flowing through it. It's brilliant. The hair on my stomach and chest is very gradually growing through as well. There's kind of an almost triangular patch around my stomach here and up my happy trail where it's darkening. The actual happy trail itself has got a lot thicker. The hairs have maybe doubled from what I had before I started testosterone. So it looks like I'll be getting a hairy chest. I've noticed as well there's some hairs on my lower back, around about the tramp stamp area, and they've started getting darker and longer as well. I hadn't noticed until I sat down in front of the mirror that I used to cut my hair in, and I looked and noticed suddenly there was this patch of hair on my back, so hopefully that's going to be about the extent of it. Keen for hair everywhere else, just not my back or shoulders, please. That's just weird. There's hair in my tits as well. It's starting to kind of ring around my nipples and just very gradually starting to kind of come outwards in almost a kind of patch like this. Again, it's similar to my facial hair. It's very faint, but I can see that they are darkening, so it's definitely something's going to change there. So, hopefully I can get my chest surgery done before the thicket comes through and gets full on. Yeah, regarding the chest surgery, I still haven't heard from my surgeon. My GP passed on my info to Janet Walls in Manchester, who is apparently the only surgeon that Scottish transgender patients can get on the NHS. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've been told, and I don't know how to argue otherwise, and I can't afford to go private, so I'm just waiting to hear back. Last thing I heard from my doctor, he'd forwarded me in the copy of the letter he'd sent to Janet, and that was about a month ago, and I haven't heard anything since then. I should have at least heard some kind of acknowledgement, if not an appointment for an initial examination or anything like that, but I'm still waiting to hear. I'm getting really desperate. Being that it's summer just now, I don't do well in warm weather. I'm struggling even just to wear a top like this because I can see the shape of things that aren't supposed to be here. I had a big fight with myself before I even recorded this video because I was going to put a t-shirt on so that you couldn't see anything, and then I nearly passed out from the heat. So I thought I was going to have to grin and bear it. They'll be gone eventually, but it's just not very pleasant for me right now. Last month I went to the first transgender event that I've ever been to. It was called Transgender All. It was organised down in England, just outside Manchester at the Peaks. it was the first time that I've ever seen other transgender men before, and there was about 60 of them, and as you can possibly guess from the title of Trans Bear All, it was a, you know, body positive, very open nudist camp. I don't know. It wasn't a requirement, but there was quite a lot of folk have been there multiple times in the past. It was my first, but they all kind of knew each other and they were quite comfortable stripping off, in front of each other. So I was able to see a whole lot of different surgeries and different results, and different body types and everything like that. So it was really, really interesting. Though because I'm so shy, I have a lot of trouble kind of opening up in these kind of situations. So even though perhaps I didn't look like I was getting a lot out of it, I definitely was. So that was really brilliant. I've only ever seen photographs of surgeries before, and I'd never kind of realised how genuinely realistic these can look. Again, because I'd only ever found out about transitioning through YouTube and through the internet quite recently, I still feel like I'm quite sheltered about the things that can be done. So it was really useful for me to be able to see the results of top surgeries and various different bottom surgeries. I still don't have any desire for bottom surgery myself. It's because I kind of have a neutral self-image. It was really helpful for me as well to be able to see that there were other transgender guys there who are quite happily living fully as male and identifying fully as male, but without having had bottom surgery done. I know it's one of these things where we're trying to get society to change its thought that a man is a penis and a penis is a man, but it's still, it's good to have that kind of thing affirmed, I think. There's one other thing that I noticed at the event, just from talking to various different folk at different stages in their transitions. It seems like asexuality and identifying outside the binary seems to be a lot more common than I would have thought. I don't know whether this is specific to female assigned at birth, whatever the term is, individuals who were like myself, maybe kind of exploring our identities, whether this is kind of a phase that we go through before we identify fully as male, or whether this is something that is becoming more well known just through greater exposure. But I just found it quite interesting to find that on the surface quite a lot of us will identify just as male because we don't want to have to explain ourselves over and over. But once you actually start talking to folk, if they're willing to be open about it, for example at an event like that where it's a friendly place to do so, they'll open up and be able to share the fact that they don't identify strictly as one gender or the other, or they don't actually feel any kind of sexual attractions to anyone else, or if they do, it's so complicated that it's difficult to explain it. That's one of the things that I've struggled with quite a lot, and before I even decided to transition, my thought was that I don't feel 100% as male, and I couldn't identify as FTM fully because I don't identify as being a man. I don't identify as either gender. My body image is as a man but without a penis, and as I've already mentioned, that kind of goes against society's idea of what a man is. But in that same sense, I don't identify as a man. I'm trying to phrase this without kind of causing any triggers or offence to anyone. I don't really know how to put it. I don't identify as a woman or a man. I identify as like an action man with nothing in the pants, I guess. But it's interesting for me to see that other people feel the same way, and that it's okay to identify as gender neutral or male or whatever you choose, kind of regardless of how your body is. So this is the kind of helpful thing that these events can do, just to open your eyes to different possibilities, even if you might have thought of it philosophically when you're discussing gender issues, maybe on the internet or with your friends or whatever. It's different to actually see it firsthand. So that was a really positive thing that I got out of the last month's things. Apart from that, I've just been busy with work. There's really been nothing happening. and I'm quite tired just now. I can't really think of anything else to say, so I'll save that for perhaps after my next tea shot, if I can think of anything useful to say. But I'm quite interested to hear, going back to the asexuality and to the gender identity thing, what you guys identify as, just to kind of get an idea of what kind of is going through our minds, I guess. I haven't phrased any of that very well, I'm too tired for this, sorry. But I'm going to leave it at that before I embarrass myself further. So thanks for watching.